Well, hello everybody. Steve the Amateur Historian here. How are you all doing this evening? Probably a little stressed like we all are. I'm drinking down some kombucha to at least create the illusion of health in a time of severe unhealth. I actually did a recording yesterday where I was kind of ranting a little bit about some of my frustrations in relation to the coronavirus, and here we are. It's the 11th, Wednesday, March 11th in the evening, so this probably won't get up. I'll update them to it, and I don't want to talk too much because I actually haven't been feeling too great the past 2 days. No worries, I don't have coronavirus. Trust me, one of the first things I do when something like this happens is I try to master, get a master understanding of all the potential symptoms. Now, granted, you can go 2 to 14 days having the virus before you actually start feeling it. So let me just say, if I do have coronavirus, I'd be very surprised. There's only been one reported case in Multnomah County, where I live in Portland. That doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of people walking around with it, because a lot of people aren't going to have good health insurance, and if they start feeling sick, they're not going to go see a doctor anyway. It's March. February and March are two of like the hallmark months of, I'm using this carrot as like to dramatize things. I'm not trying to, I've been eating carrots, and even though I'm vlogging and shouldn't be eating while I'm vlogging, they're there, and I habitually eat baby carrots, so. But yeah, so I've been feeling just a little, I think I have some bug, but I don't have one single symptom in relation to coronavirus, which the symptoms of coronavirus seem to be kind of a, it's a respiratory thing, so there seems to be a lot of correlation between flu-like symptoms and symptoms like if you have a cold or some virus like a cold. So, you got your scratchy, sore throat, coughing, sneezing, runny nose. Of course, February, March, April is where my allergies peak, and my allergies are predominantly sometimes a scratchy throat and a runny nose. I've woken up couple mornings and had a runny nose and been like, oh God, please tell me I don't have it. And then, blow my nose, I can see, not to get gross, but the mucus is, the way it looks when you're having an allergy thing. And I take my allergy pill, and, within an hour it's gone. So, I'm obviously keeping it close. There's too many people in our society that just aren't, even now. There's going to be a lot of people that just aren't, they know it's out there, but they're not going to do what it takes to prevent themselves from getting it, and if they do get it, do enough to keep other people from getting it. But yeah, I've just been feeling a little bit fatigued, a little bit wiped out. I almost feel kind of how I did like a day and a half after I got norovirus, which of course just makes you throw up like crazy, and because my stomach's been a little knotty, not naughty, I mean knotted. And I've been just feeling a lot of, and of course this past week I really went hard. I was vlogging on a lot of days, not sleeping great, and working. So this could all just be exhaustion at the same time. I don't really know. Good girl. One of the cats is coming downstairs. I don't know if he's gonna be a cat or a person. But yeah, because I'm kind of fatigued, I don't want to talk too long. I've been feeling a little lightheaded today, too. Just a little bit. If anything, if it progresses, then obviously, yeah. I don't even want to go to the hospital to check up on myself. Even if I thought there was a possibility I had coronavirus, I still wouldn't want to go in and get checked up. Because Lord only knows how many... And this is what pisses me off, and I know I haven't been following it closely, so I don't know if some are or aren't. But I feel like the moment this thing started becoming a thing, all hospitals need to have a specific coronavirus area. That is if you think you have coronavirus, that is the only place that you go to. Alright, you need to have signs saying, do not go to this wing, do not go to that wing, do not go to the emergency room. Don't even go to, like, my actual personal doctor is in a building across the street from the main hospital building. Don't go there. If you have coronavirus, there should be one specific place you go to, and that place is cordoned off from the rest of the hospital. Elderly people that are in waiting for appointments, elderly people at emergency or in the emergency room do not need you showing up with your damn coronavirus. I don't know about anybody else, but if I had coronavirus, I thought I did, and I go into a room and there's elderly people near me, and one of them dies, I'm going to think that was my fault. And what do you do with that guilt? And I guess they just had a new case in Oregon that was at like an old vet's home. You know, I guess the people that got it are in their 80s, so, you know, the odds of survival for them is very slim considering how it's been killing older people. You know, so that's the thing, is like, I'm young, I'm still healthy, I'm not worried about getting it, and, I mean, obviously you're concerned a little bit, but I'm not worried about getting it and having something really bad happen to me. I'm worried about getting it and then giving it to someone else that it's going to have a horrible impact on. And now tonight, you know, they just suspended the NBA season. We just found out that Tom Hanks and his wife have it, and, you know, Tom Hanks is what, in his early 60s? You know, he's clearly a healthy guy, but, you know, in his early 60s, like, you worry a little bit about, you know, what's going to happen. But yeah, they just found out that, you know, I follow the NBA, and I found out a player on the Utah Jazz had, great, here comes a sneeze, so that's going to scare the crap out of you now. I've been sneezing at least 10 times a day for the last, like, 6-7 months, and then it didn't happen. I felt a sneeze coming on. And that's part of, you know, some of that's just allergies, and some of it's just I sneeze more often now than I used to. But yeah, it's Rudy Gobert, center for the Utah Jazz. He actually, you know, played in the All-Star game, like, what, a month ago. And tempted fate, I heard that he was, like, when they were talking about coronavirus, he was walking around and jokingly, like, touching mics and stuff, like, oh, and now he has it. So maybe, from my understanding, Rudy Gobert is a pretty nice guy. So you know, he did something dumb, and I'm sure he feels really stupid about it now, but, you know, his team's going to play Oklahoma City tonight. That game obviously got suspended, and there was going to be like a 7:30 game between New Orleans and Sacramento. That got suspended, and now the season's just, you know, I mean, it's small peanuts compared to what can and will happen. But yeah, this is the first time that we're potentially looking at, you know, an NBA season starting and potentially not finishing. Who knows how long this is going to be, how bad it's going to be. So that just happened. You know, we just, you know, Italy is obviously fully closing their country off. And, you know, we just said we're not going to have any flights between the U.S. and Europe for at least 30 days. God, I'm thinking about people who, you know, live in America, were visiting Europe, and now are stuck there. And vice versa. People that live in Europe who are visiting America and want to get home. You know, typical dumb America. We didn't prepare for this well at all. Everybody's trying to give Trump a bunch of credit. And it's like, excuse me, we should already be doing more than we're doing now. We should have been doing that a month. The moment this happened, there should have been immediate efforts made. Anybody that brought it over should have been quarantined and financially compensated for it. That's one thing. I work in a movie theater. My girlfriend, also, she just came back. We're both working for the same movie theater, which means something happens. Someone who works there gets it. Somebody who was a customer that gets it and says, you know, 3 days ago I went to that movie theater. Like, they're probably going to close the theater where we work. And then we're both financially screwed. And, you know, I have no faith it'll happen, but if something like that happens, they need to compensate their people for lost time. If the place I work closes their doors for 2 weeks, a month, whatever, I feel like in that vein, you'd obviously need to have the ever-living crap cleaned out of that place, cleaned to levels you never went to before. But, I mean, after that, I mean, hopefully, if it's just one person, hopefully that would mean that, you know, worst case scenario, it would only be closed for a little while, and I'm trying to do the best I can right now, obviously to prevent myself from getting it, but preventing myself from getting it because then I don't want to have to worry about giving it to somebody else, you know, because, again, you can go 2 weeks with it in your system before you even notice. So, I need to act right, especially as a guy who's going out in public, as a guy that works in a place that attracts large audiences. Fortunately, it's the slow season. Not a lot of people are going to the movie theater, which means less chances of somebody showing up who has it, at least for now. And my hopes are that people are going to continue to stop going to places where there's lots of people. Like, I don't mind. I'd much rather take a slight cut in hours over the next few weeks because fewer people are showing up to the theater than to have the place have to shut down because someone with coronavirus was in there maybe at some point and possibly had the ailment at that time. Yeah, if businesses are going to close down for a period of time, they need to compensate their employees. I mean, can you imagine that scenario? Because, like, yeah, there's young people working there who are still living at home. They'll be fine if they lose their job for a little while. Some of them, it's just a side job while they're going to college or whatever. But some people, that's their primary income right now. And they don't have, And the problem is with something like this, you can't delay. So we're not going to be given a, hey, in 30 days we're closing our doors for a while. So there's your, 30-day warning or your 2-week warning. Like, this is going to be like, if something like that happens, they're probably going to make a quick snap decision and close the doors. So it's going to be immediate, suddenly. I could find myself, I work the next 2 days. I don't want to because I feel wiped out, but I don't want my reason to not go into work the next 2 days to be because coronavirus got in there. And I'm doing everything in my power while I'm there. We have movies that attract older people. I work opening shifts. That's when older people come. I try to not get anywhere near contact with people. The moment I cough or I'm lit when I'm at work, especially. I'm acting like I have it because I feel like that's the best way possible to prevent spreading it to other people. So whenever I have an older customer come to me and ask me to help them find their seat, help them with something or other, I walk to the side of them, and usually I try to walk a little behind them, because even if I'm a little bit ahead of them, if I'm breathing out, that breath is going to loiter in the air and hit them in the face. Anytime, and it sucks because I sneeze more than usual in general, and I was doing that long before coronavirus came about, and this is my allergy season, and it's really hard because I'm constantly knocking dust up into my face. I get itches all the time on my face at work, and sometimes you can't avoid it, so anytime I feel the need to touch my face, if I go on a break and I go to Walmart or whatever, I wash, constantly cleaning my hands off. And, if I sneeze, immediately wash my hands. I cough, even no matter what it could be the result of, even if I could tell, like, dust got in my nose and made me sneeze. Immediate washing of the hands. Feeling a cough or a sneeze coming on, that hasn't really happened that much, obviously, but immediately going somewhere away from people. Covering yourself entirely, block it out. So I'm trying to act like I have it while I'm at work, which is going to protect me, and it's going to protect the customers. Because again, the time that I work, a lot of older people come in. But yeah, I'm already thinking. And the thing is, businesses that attract large groups, if all these businesses start closing, even if it's temporary, you're suddenly going to have hundreds of people out of work that need to be compensated, because if they're not being compensated, they're going to start desperately looking for work. You're going to have hundreds of people suddenly unemployed, at least hundreds of people, who are going to suddenly need to find another job because suddenly they don't have any money. You're going to have all these people scrambling for jobs when there's already not a lot of jobs available, and you're going to have a lot of people roaming around town. And the last thing we need is people scattering all over town while there's a virus going around. And yeah, people need to take this seriously, no matter what their ages are. We're starting to see the real serious, what, hit the fan. Because there hasn't been a good enough effort to stop this. Again, if you say, in order to protect people, the moment you find a case in your town, if you say that person needs to be quarantined, that's fine. But you need to give them a place to go. You need to compensate them, especially if they work. You need to compensate those people. And you need to provide, necessary stuff to them. Food, all that stuff. And, you're gonna see, one of the reasons you're gonna see it spread is because our system is garbage. I don't want to get too political about it, but, you know, you have a lot of poor people who cannot afford a hospital bill. They can't afford a checkup, much less a checkup than a norovirus. Sorry, I'm still thinking about that. And that was a carrot in the throat cough. That wasn't a coronavirus cough. I should probably wash my hands, though. What was I saying? So I was talking about, you know, how messed up the system is. You have too many people who can't afford a checkup, much less a checkup and a coronavirus test. So a lot of poor people that can't afford to see the doctor, if they start feeling sick, they're not going to go in. And lots of hospitals, unless you're really sick, aren't even testing you. So who knows how many people have got this that aren't even being tested, which should be happening immediately, but it's not. And, you know, that's going to lead to this more spread. I mean, people, you know, if the doctors aren't going to help and you think you got it, you need to stay the hell away from people anyway. Oh, cats are getting playful. I was like, what was that? So yeah, you know, I was looking up information. They were like, you know, what to do if you don't have insurance. And they were like, well, regardless if you have insurance, you need to go to the hospital. And it's like, okay, well, they're already turning a bunch of people away. You have to be super duper sick for them to even want to test you in a lot of places. And two, people don't have that luxury. It's easy to say that, but some people literally can't afford to go to the hospital. And who are more likely to get sick than everyone else? Poor people, people who don't have health insurance. Someone was like, hey, because the city of Portland has a lot of homeless people, and if one of them gets it and starts spreading it around, because, I mean, homeless people, these are people that already have Lord knows what other ailments to deal with. If the homeless people start spreading it around to each other, you know, areas like Chinatown, you know, the bike path along the freeway in Portland, a lot of homeless people start getting this and spreading it around. Like, I'm not necessarily so worried about them spreading it to people that aren't homeless, but they're gonna kill each other with this, because so many homeless people already, you know, they're homeless. They don't eat properly. They have Lord knows what other kind of issues to deal with, ailments. They don't get enough of anything that you need. The city of Portland was like, we're trying to get homeless people to, if they have to sleep on the streets, to sleep like 6 feet or more apart. Wow, great solution to the problem, Portland. I don't know why I was worried. It's crazy what's going on. And, you know, I unfortunately can only control what I do as a person. We all need to be taking this seriously and looking at it that way. I can't stop a fellow coworker from being stupid and getting it and coming to work and then getting tested positive for it, and then the theater has to shut down because some idiot I worked with didn't take it seriously. I unfortunately can't control that. I wish I could, and, you know, I work with a lot of, you know, younger people who are going to think, oh, whatever, who cares, I'll be fine, I'm only 19. And it's like, well, it's not about you. It's about you taking some stock in the health of those around you. You know, so, you know, I mean, listen to how people talk when they talk about universal health care. And they're like, oh, well, you need to work to get health care. And there's so much hostility towards people, you know, who need these basic things. And unfortunately, we don't all have good enough jobs to be able to afford all these things. So some people just need to have them, even if they can't afford it. But people are, you know, some people are hostile towards that. And now those chickens are coming home to roost, because now those people that don't have health care can't go and get checked out. I mean, it's... So, you know, here we are. I really don't know what else to say right now. It's just, you know, just in the last 24 hours, there's been a big spike. People are going to start freaking out. People already have been freaking out. You know, trying to buy up a bunch of extra toilet paper and all that stuff. After today, you know, it won't surprise me. If I take my break and go to Walmart, it won't surprise me to see some bare shelves, see a lot more people in there than I'm used to seeing, because just what happened today is going to freak a lot more people out. You just got to take care of yourself, man, especially if you are elderly. If you have children, keep them the F away from any place that you can get any ailment from. Do not take your damn kids on the max. I'm actually planning to, like, anytime I can. At least it's getting warmer outside. It's about a 45-minute walk to work for me. I'm contemplating, even though I'd only be on the max trains for, you know, 5 minutes, I'm only a couple stops between where I get on and off for work and where I get on and off from the stop closest to where I live. I'm still contemplating just not taking the max. Because you get to gross, disgusting people on there all the time, and there's so many people on there. I guarantee there's been at least a handful of people on the max that are carrying this. And literally, for the past week and a half, 2 weeks, when I get on the max, and I have horrible balance, I've been literally just trying to stand and hold my balance while the train goes without grabbing. I don't sit down. I don't grab any, the straps that hang down, the poles that are kind of in the middle. I try not to touch anything. I only got to make it a couple of minutes, but I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to do anything to risk getting this because, again, I could have it for several days and not even know it. So it's imperative to prevent yourself from getting it in the first place the best you can. If you get it despite your greatest efforts, at least you tried. But the fact of the matter is I could walk around for days with this. I'm trying to stay away from people in case they got it, but I also got to stay away from people in case I got it. If I said that right. I said in case they got it the first time, right? I don't know. Again, I'm just kind of loopy and I'm wiped out, but, unless it hasn't taken effect yet, I'll say at least I don't have coronavirus, but I guess I can't quite afford to be like Rudy Gobert and count my chickens before they hatch. I'm just doing the best I can, which is all we can do and all we need to do. See you next time.